Hello and welcome back. We are continuing our Persia run here in Victoria 3. This episode we're going to be progressing towards a theocracy, but last episode we really popped off. We popped off because we managed to get onto proportional taxation, and and also get steel frame buildings, and this allowed us to go from 360 to 1058 construction. Don't mind this, money's not real, it can't hurt us. And also what we did last episode was we subjugated Egypt and Greece, our long lost enemy. We, kind of sent a delegate, a diplomat, and he didn't have such a nice fate.
No man, Persian or Greek, no man threatens a messenger.
This is Sparta!
But we did manage to subjugate them nonetheless, and so now what we will be doing is we are going to be going for the full, reducing their autonomy here. And of course we will also humiliate them if the play goes through, if they don't accept. Okay, they accept this time, rather than, killing our diplomat. Also, we are going to be going into, as we said, theocracy. Hopefully we get a pass, relatively quickly. There we go. And now we are a theocracy, which is definitely one we are going to be leading into. It doesn't change us from... It doesn't give us any sort of special name. We're still Persia. We're still the same color. But we are going to be trying to unite, a big glob of, Muslim states under our rule here, which we've already done. Ottoman Empire is kind of probably the one we want to really move towards. But unfortunately, they're a subject of Russia. So we're going to need to figure out the best way to go about that. We're going to try to get them in on a sway by just increasing the size of our army. And as Russia has, revolts in their subject countries, we will maybe be able to get reverse sway, the Ottoman Empire to our side. But yeah, this is kind of how things are going and how they're progressing. And of course, we got that nice Persia-colored Greece, which is our personal favorite. Our Persianal favorite. Alright, the first thing the Caliphate's going to do is restricting some child labor. We want to increase literacy, and, this is going to help us do it. Also, we have managed to... I just kind of wanted to point this guy out. This is the guy we started with. He's lived to 76. And this entire time, we have been getting, a minus 20% infamy generation, which is actually pretty strong as a modifier, which is one of the reasons we've been able to expand to keep low infamy. Now, we've had some times where we've been on 0 infamy, and if you're not using your infamy decay, you're losing it. But and we've also been keeping this plus 25% infamy decay on, or this pretty consistently. But we've managed to do quite a lot. Subjugating Egypt's not exactly a cheap one, and so just wanted to point that out. But since we are on high infamy right now, and we kind of just want to chill for the most part, instead of chilling, we are going to open Japan's market, which is going to allow us to eventually trade with them. And we're kind of going to start prepping getting out of Russia's market. And to that end, what we are going to do is we are going to probably, we can't really afford to bankroll Great Qing. Long term, we would want to ensure a steady supply of migrants, but we have a pretty big market, without Russia. And so we might try and, get to the point where we could get Japan in our market, and that this would maybe be sufficient, that we can kind of go out on our own, because we definitely do want to have a nice looking Persian market here, not Russian market, which is admittedly very caked up, but it's the wrong adjective in front of market. So we went to annex the Quasimid state because, as nice as it looks with all these different countries, these two little ones are maybe not as important for the borders looking good. And lo and behold, look who sides against us. The Ottoman Empire, looking to return Adana from Egypt. So I think we're going to get really aggressive Ottoman sides against us, which means I think we're going to release Bosnia. Son. So, we are going to, come in here and liberate Bosnia. We can't choose which country we want to lib, but if we also lib Bulgaria, we can maybe chunk the Ottoman down to being small enough that they are much more willing, or Russia will be much more willing to turn them over to us. Of course, this means we get a smaller chunk if they actually do come on our side, but, maybe we should have saved some of our maneuvers there. But this is, I think, going to be a good thing, and is going to maybe let us get, you know, this big chunk of Anatolia as our subject, after which we can, of course, reduce autonomy and get the map we always dreamed of. The border goreless map. This enclave in Erlisk, it's not real. It can't hurt you. Now, I told you that money wasn't real and it couldn't hurt us. We're barely, like, our balance is barely, it's cut in half, or a negative balance. Well, I guess a positive or negative cut in half is the same. But this was mainly because what was really expensive was a whole bunch of construction goods, because we had made the steel frame swap, and we have since put in a whole bunch of these, and so now we're in much better shape. We're not going to be adding construction too much, and so what we're going to do moving forward in terms of deciding what to build is we're going to kind of come in here, and we're going to see what the earnings look like. We're going to look for industries that have really high earnings, and then we are going to look for good places to build them, and we are anticipating one of two things will be the case. Either the construction goods will still be expensive, in which case these buildings will be better, so stuff like glass, or you know, tools or steel, or we have underbuilt for a while now consumer goods, and those might just be more attractive, and so that's clothing and furniture. So steel, we can see steel is pretty expensive still, so I think we're going to come in on the steel specifically, and also look to build this one up to max economies of scale, so that's kind of on the steel. But we also saw furniture was looking pretty nice, and I think we're going to look to put like a level 1 furniture in a lot of places. We know that most of our furniture unfortunately has to source from outside, but here we actually do have a decent amount of wood, but we don't have much wood here, and so they are importing wood, which is a bit unfortunate. It hurts their margins. As far as this war goes, it's going pretty good. You know, we get a landing over here in Bosnia, son, and of course now we are pushing. We have another defensive army. We are, of course, employing the strategy of having an offensive army and a defensive army, an army for pushing and an army for defending. I think this is pretty strong, and this is kind of what we've been doing so that we get nice big offensive, you know, units when we're pushing, and nice big, you know, defensive type stuff when we're defending. That's not us defending, that's us somehow pushing a 54. But I think you get the idea. We should be enforcing pretty soon, and releasing both Bosnia and Bulgaria will really hurt the Ottomans quite a lot. It of course will hurt Russia too, because one of their subjects, or they're losing market effectively. But wow, when did they get Sardinia Piedmont? Crazy. But in any case, you know, this is going to make it easier for us to get them later on down the road, the Ottomans, that is. Alright, thank you. We are releasing Bosnia, son. And so this is going to be good for us, and we will see, you know, that is a much weaker Ottoman Empire, and this is, of course, going to be good for us. We maybe want to improve relations with some of these guys. I don't think it's going to matter too much, but so when we think we want to transition, is the thing, away from their market, which we might not even do this run, but depending on how long this run goes, we definitely want to make sure we have an abundance of convoys and also really good relations with various other people we're trying to pull in our market. So at the same time, this minus infamy decay has been quite nice, and so we have to choose what exactly it is we want. Also, did we get a new ruler? We might have gotten a new ruler here. No, we still got the cautious guy. Not sure why we're suddenly floating a bunch of extra administration. Maybe he got a new trait, which would explain it, or one of these got upgraded. He's still cautious. Surveyor. Not sure exactly what did that. He starts with Imperious, if I recall correctly. Interesting. So this war is going a little bit interesting. I'm not even sure we explained what it was. We were reducing autonomy on Venezuela. France joins in, and then we have kind of this as the war goals. We managed to sway the UK to our side. France's military is bigger than us plus the UK's, but you know, it's going to be very slow going for them to try and push into us, you know, through here. Look at all these little sprites, though. Big, nice. And you know, we managed to land their capital, but now we're getting pushed out. Probably in relatively quick order. I think so these guys were the guys who were pushing up here. I think we're just going to send them over here so that we actually do, you know, relatively promptly enforce on these gentlemen here. And this will also free up, this 227 stack from the UK to maybe come on over here or something like this. Overall, this is not very advantageous for here. We have like one defensive army up here, but this war is progressing along, you know, slowly but surely. We should be getting at least, you know, the enforcement of Venezuela, which is what our infamy was spent on, and maybe we get to release Brittany, which is kind of not exactly what we wanted to release, but right now you can't really choose what you want to release, so otherwise we would have released Algeria and go for the whole of North Africa. So we finish up that war. We don't get to enforce on France, big sad. And we are now swayed to the side of Russia in exchange for Azerbaijan to help them with their thing. Now, while we are on the same side of his war with them, they can't join against us, which means Khiva, which is just in Russia's customs union, is now free game because Russia cannot come to their defense here. So we're going to make a protectorate out of them, which is going to be nice for us and is going to allow us to go for them without having to worry about Russia, aka Mummy, kind of dealing with us in a way that we would find uncomfortable. And so Russia can't join against us because we're on the same side of the play as them. And so this is fantastic. No one's very likely to join because not many people have interest in Central Asia, so this should just be kind of an easy roll, and we just won't exit this Russia war until, at the very least, no more people can join in on this war over here, and so over to the left until no one can join here. So this should be good for us. Hey, we have ourselves a new Ayatollah, which he's going to be an experienced political operator, and he is going to be imperious, so we are going to get the minus decree costs that we've continued to have, but we will not be getting, unfortunately, well, this loyalists and radicals thing is also nice, but we are not going to be getting what we have been long making really good use of, and that is decreased infamy. However, now it's way easier for us to be on the legitimate side. We're going to see what we can maybe reform into. Oh, look at this. Look at this. Truly, truly the industrialist caliphate. It's a beautiful thing. It's so cool. All right, so we also only have 3 interest groups demarginalized, and it's the Intelligentsia, the Ulema, and the Industrialists. This is a very strange timeline. We have been trying to demarginalize the trade unions. We maybe can do it if we get onto, you know, something more like census suffrage. But I think we're going to, you know, just kind of be happy with this for now, maybe. Also, the conversion rate is going to be pretty nice, you know, with the way things are going, just kind of to update in terms of what our charts look like. We are nearly 50% Shia, despite, you know, really only being like 10-11% Persian. And to be fair, we have been siphoning off a lot of, like, non-Muslim pops. But, I mean, like, if we look at our top guys, we have, okay, we have Han, not Muslim, Persian, Muslim, UA, not Muslim, Azerbaijani, Muslim, Russian, not Muslim, Korea, not Muslim, Javan, I think is Muslim, Yemenite, Muslim, Sotho, I think they might be animist, Bantu, I'm not sure, Turkish, Muslim, etc. And so, you know, we're getting a decent amount of conversion off. Also, we're absolutely popping off. We really need to expand construction a bit more. Having a bit of a hard time keeping up with everything. I think we'll just, you know, kind of do some of this. And we are running out of resources as well, kind of on the mainland here. We have exhausted a lot of the new Persian resources, which is a bit unfortunate, but it is what it is. We'll probably look to annex, you know, into Kalat Makran in Afghanistan a little bit faster here than we otherwise would, and also we are probably going to start building up pretty substantively in both Transvaal and Freistadt, and so hopefully, you know, that makes things kind of be nice. And we did get this war off with Khiva without having Russia interfere because we were on the same side of the play as them. So this is very, very key. They are very, very likely to defend anyone in their customs union, so we've been waiting for that opportunity. We were waiting it with Egypt, but Egypt decided against us when we went for Greece, so that was just kind of a little bit of luck on our part. So we just finished researching our ability to put in a new company, and so what I think we're going to slot in now, we kind of have to decide between, you know, wood cutting, or we don't have to decide between wood cutting. We're not doing wood cutting because we really don't have that much logging. It's a bit unfortunate with Persia, but it is what it is. And so what we're deciding between is the combined Persian gold company and also Tabriz Metalworks, at least at this juncture, and I think that we do, oh man, we really do have a lot of tooling, but I think that, when you're below 200 million GDP and you have a decent amount of gold, which we do, I think the Persian gold company is just so strong, because the minting, it's giving you throughput on all your mines. We're getting a decent amount of mines now, and it's also giving you minting bonus, and if you look at our income from minting, we're making 250k from minting, so getting 5% on top of this is going to be pretty nice, and it like double dips, because, we're getting this much from our GDP, and that's like roughly half of our minting. The other half is you're getting from these gold mines, and 20% throughput is really good on gold mines, and the reason being is that, they don't have a lot of throughput generally to begin with, and so getting an additional 20% throughput is going to mean we're going to get like a whole ton of minting out of this, and so this is going to be quite strong for us. We do wish we had a little bit more gold. We don't have Peru-Bolivian gold, we don't have Chilean gold, we maybe don't have as much gold as kind of normal, we don't have like any of the California gold, Nevada gold, anything like that, but it's still, I think, going to be quite strong. Eventually we do want to side in Kupus, which is a little bit of a better tooling kind of company that is available here in Greece, but for now we'll steady on and continue annexing Khiva. So what started as just kind of a casual invasion of Greece has turned into the final showdown of this run, I think. Russia joined against us, and so we will be leaving their market, of course. We are going to be prepping for the fact that we're going to be leaving their market necessarily. This is going to throw turmoil into everything. We're going to try and make sure that we have enough arms industries on the back of this, especially because we are massively conscripting, because this isn't really a war that I think we win normally, but we're going to try and micro it. We're going to try and figure it out, because we've put in transfer the Ottoman Empire, and so we will try and get the full shebang here. We have also started to bankroll both Great Qing and the Shogunate, with the aim of getting them inside our market once we're our own market. But this has, this is shaped up. Currently, what we're going to be doing is we are going to be keeping all of our offensive armies off the fronts for the very beginning of the war, let them push into us, exhaust their morale a little bit, and then we will turn the corner and look to push them, while simultaneously putting in a whole bunch of landings. We might start just landing pretty straight away, just onto, things that are adjacent to our front as a way of extending the front, but I'm not sure exactly how well this works now. In 1.5, this isn't a strategy that we've really executed that much, but, army size is somewhat similar. I think we can outmaneuver them, and I think that they are going to experience some very severe difficulties. Of course, they don't have really a war goal on us other than independence of Greece, because Russia becomes the war leader for whatever reason. This is like, it shouldn't operate this way, because they're the customs union leader, and they side with them, so they become the war leader, because they're technically Greece's overlord's overlord, because they're technically our overlord. Weird relationship thing, but they're the war leader, and they don't have any war goals on us, so it will be pretty straight up a bit of a fight. We can't just stick them and force them to enforce on 0, or somehow decay them below 0 while we're staying at 0. There's no staying at 0. So this is going to be, it's either we win and triumph, or we're going to go down in flames off the back of this war. One of the two. Of course, our market is all kinds of messed up, but we do have a ton of convoys with which to deal with this, but we have a ton of things at minus 75. This is not tolerable. We are going to be exporting all of this, even the goods that are agrarian-based, especially because short-term this war is going to be a bit of a problem. And then you can see we have a ton of stuff that we have a shortage of, and we will be constructing this ourselves and looking to handle it, especially because I think we're going in on pubjacks. We really need a lot more engines anyways, but there's a whole bunch to do. We started a few more bankrolls. We're going to take a quick look to see if we can pull anyone in the customs unit. It's unlikely that we can just like right off the bat, but we are going to be working in that direction. You can see our customs union. Hey, it looks pretty nice here. So that's a nice looking, Persian market customs union. Very contiguous. Okay, so this war might low-key be unwinnable, because I just realized they control 100% of the war goals. So not only can they enforce us below 0, but they already start with 100% of the war goals. So we're going to have to get after it. We're going to need to go after Greece and all the other rest of these guys. We're going to come in here. We're going to recruit up a whole bunch more troops as well. And we're going to need to land their capital and just, do a million landings. So we're going to recruit, 10 new armies. Just try and do everything we can to try and win this war. We're going to need to divide up all the fleets into smaller and smaller units, this type of stuff. But I think we're going to just make 10-stack cavalry all over the place and just look to land with these like 1-stack cavalry all of Russia, try and occupy as much of it as possible. And yeah, I mean, I think this might actually be low-key unwinnable. We are getting ticked down so fast just at the outset, 3 times as fast as they are. So but we're landing, you know, this war goal, the war goal of the Ottoman Empire and the Greek one, and then we will be landing their capital, something like this. Hopefully it works. Alright, so we got 2 naval invasions in. We got one in here, and we got one in here. So we got one in on the Ottoman capital and also the Greek capital. So we should be getting fast takes. I guess we only have 50% of the war goal. Maybe we didn't land the Ottoman's capital. Or actually, did we land the wrong capital? Maybe Attica's the capital, and we landed the other one? Okay, Attica's the capital. We'll occupy it quickly. So we should be getting an additional 5 decay. So it's 1.16 versus 2. So this does not look good for us. We have to occupy a ton more of their territory in order to make this work. Ooh, I didn't even notice that we had a front over here. That's maybe not good, but it looks like our allies are pushing it anyways. So, yeah, we have a fleet coming in over here, but they have a pretty big defense, so maybe this isn't even going to work. God, this is such grim. This is such grim. Very, very little excite. I don't know if this is winnable. Okay, we have a differential of 15 we have to make up. God. That's so rough, but they might be willing to capitulate even if we have less a lower score than them. That is, we've been decayed even lower. Just as long as we control this. So let's try and occupy all the Ottomans, which is kind of what we're doing here. And so we don't like that. We do have some new armies though. So this is we'll recruit these guys up, and then we will mobilize and put them on this. Oh, we forgot to give these guys force march and such. We'll do all that stuff too. Okay, so despite the landing on their capital going really poorly, because they're actually defending it, boo-hoo, we are doing, you know, kind of okay in this war in terms of we've fully occupied the Ottoman Empire, and so they are getting a tick of -2. We are getting a tick of -1.34, and so I think we're in good shape here, you know, starting with defending and then, you know, mainly pushing the Ottomans, and so it's looking really good. We will now kind of refocus a little bit on the economy, because we haven't been so focused on the economy. It's the economy, stupid. So the weird outgrowth that we had that was kind of giving us free enforcement has now been dealt with. We are currently getting less than they are now because we are no longer occupying a vast swath of their land, 1.69 versus 1.37. So this is unfortunate. It's definitely not good, and of course, you know, the economy is spiraling a little bit. We'll, you know, look into doing some new trade routes, but this is starting to look grim again. It wasn't so grim, now it's grim again, because for whatever reason, the free front we had accumulated is now gone, which is unfortunate. Also, I think maybe we just pull back off these bankrolls, or will we have here, actually, let's get a trade agreement using the obligation. Let's stop bankrolling here. We're going to stop bankrolling, mainly because we can't get these guys really in our customs union anyways, because we are too infamous. So, for obvious reasons, because we transferred Ottomans. You know, I'm a little bit nervous about this land war in Russia, during the winter, and while we're going bankrupt. However, they don't seem to be really moving their troops to assign the fronts, so we're not going to land if they're just going to keep their troops defending against our landings. But instead, we're just going to get a good old-fashioned push, I think. And we have an absolute enormous amount of guys, generals, who are pushing on this front right now. And we can add even more. In fact, we can add our cavalry guys onto the front, because we know we don't really want to truly use them for landings at this point. We'll keep that guy in reserve, because it's just the one. It's the one with 4 generals will be harder to pull off the front. Oh, actually, we do have to keep a few over here. I forgot. They are putting down a rebellion. But, you know, I think that the AIs, like, went from overcommitting here and being weak to landings, and now they're a little too strong to landings. And we do have another landing coming in here, allegedly. It's going to be another 50 days, but I think we get this off, maybe. 1.39 is their tick, and well, once we finish this Afghan uprising, we will also get some new guys. 1.57 is our tick, but, oh my god, a war started, so everyone got unassigned. We're going to have to reassign everyone to this front. We are the first one to get ticks below 0, but it looks like they might have a Shadow Realmed army, which is currently 0 days to move anywhere, and so if that army is bugged out, we can probably push in here. You know, they are decaying a little bit faster than us now, mainly because we've occupied so much of their territory at this point. I do think did we get our landing off here? Oh, no, we're trying. Oh, I didn't even notice there was a defense here, so that might not even succeed. Cultural exclusion coming in too, but, you know, it's tense, but I think that we're going to get there, especially because we're trying to push towards the capital. I think we're going to get it. You know, if they don't commit, you know, more troops. We also have a unit that was kind of bricked. They had no path to that front before, now they have a path, so things are a little bit touch and go, but it's looking like we're going to get it. Of course, just to be clear, I think that transferring Ottomans in this way, this brute force method, is probably not actually very good, but we wanted to, you know, we wanted to get what we wanted, so that's kind of why we just brute forced it at the very end here. But it's looking like we can maybe get something. Ooh, and the USA just randomly wants to ban slavery in Sind. Let's go, baby. Sind, of course, being Russian Sind, which we currently occupy. And we just barely enforce them below us, and lo and behold, they're willing to accept, transfer the Ottoman Empire. We will ask for it, and they will give it, and we will have transferred the Ottoman Empire. Now, we do have to wait 5 years before we can turn them that nice yellow we got here, and I think we're going to mainly chill, you know, and try and eco up, because we have so much infamy here anyways. Yeah, we have, you know, some problems. We're going to look to hunker down and try and resolve a lot of these problems, and we're going to do a lot of trade, specifically trying to get people in the market as well. We have a lot of convoys, so we can, you know, kind of do a little bit more trade, you know, people kind of don't want trade agreements with us too much. Notably, the UK has a trade agreement with us, which is going to be nice. We're going to improve relations with Russia, because we don't hate the idea of, you know, joining plays on their side and trying to get some more of these Central Asia states, and so this will be helpful, and hopefully we can get something done in this regard. Okay, so I think what we're going to do here is we are going to offer to side with Russia, surprise, surprise, in exchange for, oh, we can't get a bankroll, but a trade agreement will be nice. We're doing a large volume of trade with Russia anyways, and so this will help us out on the bureaucracy as well as getting more profitable routes. We are not tariffing them, they might be tariffing us, this sort of thing. We do kind of... this will help out. But also what we're going to do, as far as the eco goes, is we are going to come in and we are going to look, because we kind of recently researched shift work, we're going to look around and we're going to see, hey, is anything close, even remotely close to 51, and it doesn't have decent earnings? And if the answer is yes, we're going to kick it up to 51. We, of course, will need several railways in Isfahan. Let's do that. But this is going to be kind of a heuristic, and this is going to give us a lot of excess goods to trade with. You know, it might not hit us towards equilibriums quite as well. Man, is it really just like this? Do we really not have that much stuff to bring to 51? Unfortunate. But anything that's 30 or plus, we're going to bring to 51. Ooh, this is kind of decent earnings. I think we'll just 51 here in Kerman, and then maybe just look to do some trading. We are going to add a couple of off the back of that as well. And the big thing is you have increasing marginal returns as throughput gets higher, because, you know, the second building you build, which is the first level of throughput you get, it's effectively worth 102% of the building. You have 1% throughput, so it's 1% throughput on the new building you just built, and an additional 1% on the previous building. On the 51st building you build, it is 50% throughput on the building you built, and an additional 50% throughput on the previous 50 buildings that you built, because they move from 49 throughput to 50, and so it's effectively 200% of the building, which is why, specifically when we get into 30, we're emphasizing, you know, pushing these up. Before we get into that range, I think it's a bigger consideration in regards to MAPI, before we get into this 30 plus. And I don't know exactly where the break point is, but I think that there's a certain inflection point where you stop caring about MAPI and you start caring about this other thing. So for example, if we look at earnings and we look at where the textile mills earnings are going to be really good, it's going to be where there's a lot of demand and no supply, right? And so, spreading out a bunch of textile mills might make a lot of sense, right? But then once we get like a textile mill up to like level 31, which we're nowhere near that right now, then it's going to make sense to, bring it up to 51 and have it supply the other market or supply trade routes specifically. If you're going to be trading a lot and you want to increase the volume of trade, then you want to have a bias more, towards throughput rather than MAPI. But this is a bit abstract. We're just going to be ecoing up for a while because we want to play the sub 25 infamy playstyle, and we have 60 infamy. So. Okay, color me confused as we try and recolor the map, but for whatever reason we actually don't have a truce with the Ottoman Empire, or do we have a pseudo-truce? No, we don't have a truce. I'm not sure exactly why we don't have a truce, considering we just fought them. I don't know exactly how this is working. We kind of had a similar thing with Egypt, and maybe I'm just missing the point. Maybe it's when we fight... there's something resetting our truce, because Egypt was not the primary war goal, Greece was, and Greece was the primary war goal, Ottomans were not. But in any case, we can reduce their autonomy now as if we didn't have a truce, and so we're going to reduce the autonomy of the Ottoman Empire. Of course, this gives us a ton of infamy. It probably would be better to wait, especially if, their population is diminishing, which it is at a very good, pace. But this is going to give us, the full... Ottoman, or this is going to give us the full nice big block of Persia and the 1,000 nations of the Persian Empire. And so I think we're actually going to conclude this run here because we fulfilled a lot of the objectives we kind of set out. We did become a theocracy. Notably, let's kind of run through some of the stuff we have going on for this run. This was kind of a run we wanted to be a little bit shorter, but as far as cultures go, you can see we're mostly Han, and we got some UA and this sort of thing. But if we come down to religion, you can see we have over 50% of our pops, so a lot of conversion has been done, converting to Shia off the back of, this bonus here with the ulema, and we have an interesting situation where we only have 3 interest groups, like, demarginalized, but with just 3 of these demarginalized, it's going to make it so easy, or it's going to continue to be very easy to stay on theocracy, which is a bit of an interesting one. It's kind of strange that we have the Intelligentsia along with the ulema. We've been trying to bolster the trade unions on up. Trade unions would probably be preferable to Intelligentsia, but if you can't get Intelligentsia above 25% or 20 clout for the migration attraction, leaning into the devout might make a lot of sense. This has been kind of a bit of an interesting test. Let's kind of look at some other stuff. We're approaching 200 million GDP. Notably, if we could expand the customs union a little bit, things would be a lot better, but of course we have 75 infamy. Wow, 75, if I recall correctly, 75 is an uncomfortable breakpoint, so we might get people getting mad at us. We can of course reset our infamy if we had a revolution and we swapped sides, something like this, but if we wanted to continue an uber min-max, but we're not going to do that. The pop, you could see, was cranking up really, really high, and then it slowed down as we left the market which had Xing in it. SOL, doing relatively well. GDP, we could compare to the rest of the world, and notably, UK really popped off this game, which I think is normal, or is the new normal, because if we look at the culture map mode, are we going to see, we see in Midlands, it's Maharathi, and then we see Bengali up here, and so definitely the migration is skewing things. We see we're mostly Han here in Persia, and so Han. A little bit of a apparently they're going to be changing it, and it's not going to work like this, or they're not going to implement this new system in 1.5.5. It's for 1.5 release, but okay, so let's kind of just look through some of this stuff. We have the number 2 GDP behind Great Britain, which has 200 million. Decent come up. We're decently far into the game. We did some stuff that was maybe not the most efficient as well. Like expanding here is not anywhere near as good as expanding in places which have gold, and so this is largely, but it's nice and themey. We, as far as prestige goes, we are number 5. SOL, we are in the top list, but we're not we're not a performer, let's say. And as far as population goes, we are the number 4, just behind Russia and, you know, which I think is pretty good. If you look at the trajectory, the Raj is just losing pops to migration. Russia's been gaining some from Qing. Our pops are pretty vertical, but so is the UK, you know, really coming on up as a result of the migration changes, which aren't going to go through. We do want to get Japan in the market, though. And if we can end up doing something like this would be really good for us. You know, or this is how we would play if we were to continue this run. But I hope you enjoyed this episode and this run. We formed, you know, this massive caliphate right here. Here's our customs union, just to kind of take a look at that. It looks really nice. And I hope you enjoyed. If you did, feel free to like, comment, subscribe. You know, do the YouTube algorithm thing, and have a good day.